Hey friends, welcome back to yet another episode of Musical Commentary. This is WardSpeaksMusic. I'm a pretty big fan of musical experimentation, trying new things, different things, exploring the many possibilities, and hopefully coming up with something that no one has ever heard before. You may or may not know this, but I've been listening non-stop since April of 2023 to Sleep Token. Their music is incredible, mind-blowing and phenomenal, and a lot of people have been touched deeply by it. My subject today is a band that has achieved a very similar outcome using a very similar method, yet as you can read, the title states that I'm not a fan of them. This is Polyphia, one of the most recent breakout bands. They've been getting a lot of mainstream attention lately, mainly for their highly technical and virtuosic guitar parts and very interesting experimentation. They released their most recent album, Remember That You Will Die, in 2022. Not the most fitting title for a band like that. Sounds more like a Lamb of God title. So I started listening to these guys and my first song was Playing God. Before I tell you what my first impression was, let me just say that I absolutely respect and admire technical playing. I love seeing those supremely talented and academic players get the attention and recognition that they deserve. Well, at least I hope they're academic musicians. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I enjoy highly technical music made by supremely talented musicians. Because the first time I heard Polyphia, I couldn't enjoy the music. I was almost immediately repulsed, if I'm being honest. I hope I'm choosing my words correctly here. Now, before you ambush me in the comments, of course I know there are many people out there who enjoy and prefer this kind of music. But I'm just not one of them. I believe this. I believe that primarily, music should touch the listener's heart. It should deliver a message, and that message should be relatable. When you're listening to a song, I think that you should feel or almost be convinced that the artist wrote this song for you, for people like you to connect with it, and feel that you're not alone in whatever you're feeling. Which is why I believe that it doesn't matter how technical you are or how fast you can play, as long as you're not touching people, figuratively, not literally. Look at Sleep Token, their drummer is super impressive and their music sometimes gets technical and progressive, but that's never been what makes their music so outstanding. Not primarily. Their fans are obsessed, they're absolutely addicted to their songs. Me included, by the way. But that's never been caused by the technicality, but by the extreme intensity of the music, the genuineness, the sensitivity, the depth, and the atmosphere. The technicality is a bonus. A great bonus. But it's a bonus. In the end, it's just a bonus. That's why it's called a bonus. Now let's go back to Polyphia, because I think those guys took that bonus that I just talked about and made it the foundation of their music. Allow me to cite Glenn Fricker, the producer who once made a video about why you should choose a more mainstream sound and formula. He said something that's very, very true, and I cannot quote him accurately right now. He was talking about those extreme prog metal bands, and he said something like, they're special, they're cool, alright? But you would only listen to them a couple times just for the wow of it. I think that's how he put it. And I think it's absolutely true, and I'll tell you about it from my perspective. Once every month or two, I sit down and I'm like, God, I haven't listened to Necrophagist in so long. They're called necrophagists, right? They're not necrophagists or necrophagists, no, they're necrophagists. So then I'm like, I got a blast stab wound. But then I listen to it once or twice and that's it. I'm impressed, I got what I wanted. Sometimes I feel like hearing Disaster Piece, Disciple, Freezing Moon, Born in a Casket. But it's always the same thing. When I first heard Playing God by Polyphia, I couldn't enjoy it. It's super impressive, I lost count of how many notes he played per measure, but I couldn't enjoy a single one. Because not a single one of those notes lasted long enough for me to feel it. What feeling is it trying to convey? What am I supposed to feel? What's the message? Now, everything I've said so far is basically a rant. That's the rant part of this video. Now's the time for the real criticism. I said in the beginning of this video that I highly appreciate innovation and experimentation, but only when it's carefully done and well thought out. I'm against the idea of anything goes. No, I don't think it works that way. Again, I could refer to Sleep Token, who, as many people would say, have successfully introduced a whole new subgenre with their creativity. It's astonishing every time they all of a sudden do jazz or trap. but it's always well done and well thought out and carefully planned and structured. They know when to do it and how to do it. Polyphia, on the other hand, well, they've been displaying a pattern of mixing those technical guitar parts with hip-hop beats, which is interesting, it's different, it's unheard of. But to me it sounds and feels way too, I don't know, blunt? Straightforward? It sounds like it was only done for the sake of experimentation, you know? Presenting something new, different, but not necessarily brilliant. You know, like, hey, check this out, we're different, we're special. Well, yeah, they are special, no one's ever done that before, but special won't necessarily tug on your heartstrings. Besides, they have this issue that's really common nowadays in rock music. The songs are way too overproduced. You read this a lot now in comments. Many people say that rock music now sounds like it's all made on a computer. Everything sounds programmed, it doesn't sound natural anymore. There's too much precision, it's like robots are playing. Even the distortion effects sound kind of artificial. There's no soul in the music anymore, it's lifeless. I think there's too much reliance on what you can do in the studio. Now I know those guys are excellent guitar players, but something about those guitars sounds and feels, I don't know, I don't want to say fake. There you go, I said it. I don't know why they sound unnatural to me, and I hope I'm wrong about this. So to wrap up, I think they're special, and they definitely have a bright future ahead of them. But at the same time, to me, they're crystal clear. There doesn't seem to be a very interesting and deep concept. I'm sure if they had lyrics, they would have helped. You know, this whole thing would be very different. But instrumentalism seems to be their thing. Now remember, you can be technical and stir emotions at the same time. You can blow people's minds and touch their hearts too. One band that perfectly did that, other than Sleep Token, was Death. I remember when Voice of the Soul put a tear in my eye. It's a difficult track and it's got no lyrics, yet it touched me.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you very much for watching this episode of Commentary. Let me know your thoughts on Polyphia. Is it a thumbs up or is it a thumbs down? Or is it something in between? Let me know in the comments. Thanks again. See you next time. Please take care of yourselves. And as always, have fun.